Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the morning show right here on Wire to Wire Sports. Let me go ahead and bring everybody in. There we go. What's up, brother Mo? How you doing, man?
Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody that's joining us. Appreciate you joining Will and I on the morning show.
Yes, welcome to the morning show once again, right here on Wire to Wire Sports. We got a lot to talk about. I got all these doggone Super Bowl topics, but the thing that's been killing me, the NBA has been king this week.
It really has.
It has been king. Oh my goodness. Um, Lots to talk about. And I'm gonna start calling you Nostradamus because you said yesterday when we got off the show that you anticipated some more deals to be done, some more deals to be made, and you were correct. We had some deals that went through yesterday. Um, the one that shocked me the most was the Jimmy Butler deal. What did you think?
Yeah.
What did you think about that deal? I got a little reservations about it, but what do you think?
So initially, the reports were Jimmy Butler wasn't interested in joining the Warriors. Remember that he wasn't interested in being there.
Morning, Gene.
So that threw me off a little bit. But I
Yeah.
guess I guess once Joe Lacob and company offered Jimmy that 2-year extension, he thought not a bad place to be. So look, clearly Joe Lacob and the Warriors management are invested in making one more championship push in the Steph Curry era. And I get that. Hence the 2-year deal with Jimmy Butler. I have to believe, Will, that the Warriors, they can go two ways. One, they've still got Jonathan Kuminga, who is extension eligible. They have not given him an extension. And you could lose him outright to free agency or roll the dice. I have to believe that he's on the table potentially to be moved today. They have some young pieces, some young assets that they might move. Now, if Kaminga is still on the roster beyond that, then they must have maybe some kind of verbal agreement where he is going to get that extension. So I look at Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, and Steph Curry and go, does this make the Warriors title contenders? No, I don't think so. It makes them legitimate playoff contenders,
Yes.
but not title contenders. And so Warriors management still has some work to do if they're going to put some pieces around those three. Because remember, yes, they're three talented players, but Steph's 36, Jimmy
Mhm.
Butler's closing in on 36, and Draymond's 34. Uh,
Mhm.
you're gonna have to put more pieces around them if you're really going to make a serious title run. So I'm not sure what they did with Jimmy Butler is going to be about this year, unless they're very very busy today.
My thing is, they're what in the West 11th?
I know they lost last night, and they're literally 25-25.
Yeah, you're like
So they're
11th place right now from the
right.
play-in. So, do they have enough time to make up that ground?
No, I think they have plenty of time to make up the ground because if you look at how the West is bunched up,
Mhm.
like as much as people want to say the Anthony Davis trade makes Dallas better than the Lakers in the present, and in the moment I said that, but really, when you really think about the trade,
Mhm.
is that true? Like the Lakers have won, I think 9 out of their last 11 games. There's something like 29-16 or so. My point is their record is way better than the Mavs record. I think the Mavs
Yep.
might be a game over 500, and the duo of Kyrie and Anthony Davis. That look, I think the potential of that could work very well. But I think you brought up some concerns. My concerns is this with Dallas. How many shot creators are on that roster?
Right.
Like like
Right.
outside of Kyrie, and I know AD can get his own shot, but I'm talking about perimeter players who can break defenses down and make teams collapse. I Kyrie's one. Look, Spencer Dinwiddie's capable in short bursts, but on a consistent basis.
He hasn't
I'm
shown that.
right. And I'm my concern with Dallas is that they don't have a lot of shot creators. What happens if Kyrie misses 5 or 6 games, or he's in foul trouble, or teams blitz him like Cottrell and Brett pointed out and make someone else have to make a play? So I think Dallas is going to be great on defense, but they might
Mm.
struggle. They might struggle mightily on offense.
Yeah, they're gonna have to get the offense. That's why I was saying I didn't understand that Grimes move for Caleb Martin. I didn't get that.
Well, the Caleb Martin move from the Philly standpoint was Philly was trying to save money.
Mm.
Caleb Martin's owed about $25 million, maybe close
Yes.
to 26. And Grimes is going to have a player option this off season, and I think his player option is only like $5 million. So they're trying to save money because when you look at the two players, their skill sets are very similar, except Grimes is years younger, more
Mhm.
athletic.
Yeah.
So I don't know why you would make that trade if you're Philly unless you're trying to save money. The Mavs made that trade because they're doing everything on a Kyrie, Anthony Davis timeline. Caleb Martin is, I think he's about 29, 30. He's a veteran who's played in big games, played in big series. So they're going that route versus Grimes. Look, the Jimmy Butler thing is very intriguing. But if you're a Warriors fan, you should be excited, but a cautious excitement because unless they make some more
Awesome.
moves, unless they make some more moves, I don't think the Warriors are serious threats this year. And here's the thing, Will, that if you're not serious threats this year, so Steph's going to be 37 next year. Jimmy's going to be 36, 37 next year. Draymond's going to be 35. Like the way this works is you don't get more dangerous as you get older, like with the exception of one guy. So I have to think Kuminga's on the table. Moses Moody's on the table.
Mhm.
They moved Dennis Schroeder in the trade yesterday to Utah. So I
We're
think
gonna talk about that in a minute.
right. I think everybody not named Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green are on the table.
I think Schroeder kind of messed himself up with his comments, but we'll go there a little later.
It's not the first time.
Exactly. Let's talk about what this does for the Heat. That's like, what does this trade do for the Heat? Does Wiggins benefit the Heat this season?
So you've watched Andrew Wiggins as long as I have. He's got to be one of the NBA's greatest enigmas.
Yep.
The talent, you know what the talent is, but his mentality. Andrew Wiggins has the talent to where he could be a capable second or third option, but his mentality is he just wants to blend in. He has little to no dog in him. I like him. He's one of them guys you root for, but he doesn't have that. I'm the guy. I can go get it. He makes the Heat younger, and I think if you want to use him as a complementary piece and put him around Hero, around Bam, he's comfortable in that role. So he's a good piece for Miami, but he's not the kind of piece that's going to suddenly make the Heat a threat in the East. I think the best part about that deal for Miami is A, Pat Riley got rid of Jimmy Butler, and B, they got back the protected number one.
My issue is this. Do you think I still think Miami didn't get enough back? Maybe I'm just being ignorant to the fact. I
think you're right.
I don't think they got enough back.
I think he could have got more, but this is what to me, this is Pat Riley being Pat Riley. He's hard, he's tough.
Yes.
But he'll do you a solid. I think he did Jimmy a solid. Pat Riley could have just done a Pat Riley thing and been like, I think I'll just keep you on the roster and let you go. You know what I mean? Like you'll just be a free agent, but I'll keep you here sitting for the rest of the year. He decided to get something, some assets. And remember, I think their contracts, Wiggins and Anderson's, they'll be in their almost the year before they're free agents. He can flip those contracts if you need to. So they are tradable. Those are tradable, movable assets. Everything Miami has done, they'll say it's about this year, but Pat Riley's he's moving forward. He's looking to this coming off season. He knows the Heat aren't contenders.
Yeah, he knows. You gotta know the temperature of your own team, that's for sure. I think it's kind of interesting that this whole thing happened because KD says he didn't want to go back to Golden State.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? As great a player as he is, his decision making isn't the best.
No.
I don't understand the logic of that kind of thinking, but if let's just say we pretend we get into Kevin Durant's head for a minute. So KD's thinking, if I go back to the Warriors and we win again, they're going to say I needed Steph And they're going to say something to that effect. They
I
might.
wouldn't care as long as I got that ring.
Right, but they might. But you've won with Steph before, and
Yep.
both times you won with Steph, you were the clear better player.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Maybe you do need him to a degree, but he needs you too. You won't get no argument from me.
Well, no argument for me either. That is a true statement.
Right, just get into his head for a minute. Like I'm gonna stay in Phoenix.
Yep.
With Book and Bradley Beal and be a team that might not make the playoffs, or I could go join Steph and Draymond and some of those younger players they have, and we can make a real run. And he opted to go, no, I don't want to go back there.
Let me ask you. Now, you were saying there's some deals for Golden State, for deals to be made with Golden State.
For sure.
Do you think Draymond would be in one of those deals?
If they can pull back a star, they'd move Draymond. Like when I hear people go, no, they'd never move Draymond because he gets Steph shot. He's been a good facilitator, but I think Steph Curry would still be Steph Curry minus Draymond Green.
I think so too.
I do.
So too.
Look, they're not going to be as tough and they're not going to be as defensive minded, and you're going to miss those intangibles. But if you can bring back a star for a 34-year-old complimentary player, you move them.
Gene, you know I had to bring it up. You know I had to ask the question, Gene. You know I had to ask the question.
Yeah, if you can get rid of a complimentary star and bring back a younger, more talented player, yeah, you move them, of course, with the quickness. You have dynasties come to an end. You got to move on.
Facts.
You got to move on. If they're gonna, and they know their dynasties to the end. So what are they doing? They're pushing all their chips to the middle of the table with the Jimmy Butler signing.
All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the other deal that happened last night. I'm sort of kind of conflicted on this deal. Mark Williams from the Hornets get moved to your Lakers for Dalton Knecht, Cam Reddish, a 2030 first round pick, swap rights basically, and a 2031 first round pick, which is unprotected. I like the deal because the Lakers pick up a big man. I do like that. My issue is with Mark Williams. He's only played like 38% of his games, and that doesn't get better with age. That's something that lingers and gets worse as the player gets older. Now, I get it. He's a good big man that can rebound, play some defense, and score, but you have to be able to keep him on the court. I'm gonna ask two-part question. Is he street clothes 2.0? And was Dalton Knecht enough? Do you warrant that deal worthy for the Hornets to get Dalton Knecht? Because to me, the Hornets don't want to win, because I don't know why you would look at Mark. Dalton Knecht is an older player. He's an older rookie. I'll give you that. He's what, 25?
Yeah.
He's like 25, going on 26.
I think he's like 20, 23 or 24, but he's an older rookie, right?
Right. So we mess with Mark messes with her. But do you like the deal? Because it's a perfect fit, but
it's a perfect fit. But what to me, when a lot of people talked about the Luka deal, what you hear is the Lakers are going to look to get better and compete for a title next season. But when you make a move like this for Mark Williams and you trade Dalton Knecht and you trade that pick,
yep.
To me, this move means you're trying to win a title this season. Like, and to be clear, I don't believe, let me put it out there, that the Lakers are going to win the title. But at the same time, you can't have two top 10 players on your roster and make excuses about not making the deep playoff run. That there is no excuse for that, especially when one of them just took his team to the finals last year.
Yep.
There is no excuse, even though they have the same skill set in the same game.
Mm-hmm.
If they both have high basketball IQs, which they do, you find a way to make that work. Now, it'll look great at times, and it's going to look funky at times because your personality is who you is. Is Luka going to complain and demand every call? That's who he is.
Yep.
Luka wants every call. Is he? And when he's complaining Is this man going to sneak back and get a layup or whatever it was? That's going to happen a few times. Is he going to test LeBron's patience? Guaranteed. Is LeBron going to test his patience from time to time? Guaranteed that as well. I like the move because what Mark Williams does is he gives you a young athletic big who can rim run, protect the paint, rebound. And Luka's had his best success when he's had athletic bigs that can run to the rim because of his great court vision and what he can do in a pick and roll or pick and pop situation. LeBron's done that as well too over his career. So I don't know if I would have gave up on Connect. So
I don't know if I would have done it either, but
because they were singing his praises, and I was of the opinion he's a rookie. He's gonna have those ups and downs, but I thought in the end he's going to be better going forward. And they are, to me, this trade is literally about right now.
Yep.
They've done everything, and I think Rob Pelinka has said, no, we're not talking about trying to compete next year. The Lakers look at the West and go, outside of Oklahoma City, there is no dominant team in the Western Conference. We got Luka and LeBron. Joker he didn't even have a second All-Star.
Nope.
Right. So why wouldn't we be able to compete with them? Why wouldn't we be able to compete with Minnesota? Does Minnesota look like world? If the Lakers played the Timberwolves, we're beating the Timberwolves in the series. I can go down the list of teams we're going to beat in the series.
Mm-hmm.
And the only team that might give the and I'm talking about if all things being even, every team being healthy. Mm-hmm. The only two teams that would give the Lakers trouble would be Oklahoma City and Houston. And Houston would give them trouble because of all the athletes they have on the floor. Like they might be the most athletic, they might be the most athletic team in the NBA, and they've got like 4 or 5 guys that can clamp people down. The only problem I have with Houston is I just don't think they have reliable scoring when they need to in the fourth quarter. I really thought they were going to make a move for a scorer, but look, I digress. My point is, if you're a Laker fan, be optimistic, but be realistic.
Right.
Be realistic. I think they can make it to a second round and make that really interesting. But they do have a lot of deficiencies in terms of depth and in terms of their defense.
That is true about Houston. They do. Yeah, that's true about Houston. They do have a good head coach.
They do have a head coach.
I have a head coach.
My only problem is when 2 of your 3 leading scorers shoot below 40%. That doesn't bode well in a series.
What's up, Andrew? How you doing, man?
I thought they would have moved. I thought they would have moved Van Fleet, but I think he's one of Udoka's guys, so that's why he's still there.
Yeah, that's a good point. From the Hornets side of things, I just think they don't want to win, man. Because I'm not letting go. I'm not letting go of Mark for that hard. No, I'm not doing it.
That is the trade to me. When the Lakers present that to you, I would have been like, "No, we're good.
I'll be good, man.
I'm good." But it's a Hornets move. It's almost like a Hornets tradition. Make moves that benefit everybody but yourself. No, they're not trying to win. They're doing what they've done over the better part of 20 years. Be a perennial lottery team. Okay, all right. Add another lottery pick and still be a god-awful franchise.
They're the epitome of, we got all these picks, or we get all these picks, but none of them matter if none of them hit. And the ones that do hit, they let them all go.
The Hornets need to make Sam Presti an offer he can't refuse. Something insane, like $20 million, like just some unheard of money. He's the best GM in basketball by far. Great evaluator of talent, and 9 times out of 10, his draft picks always hit.
Can Cooper Flag save the Hornets?
In terms of attendance and box office, yeah. In terms of them being a great team, nah. He might be everything that people project him to be. And I don't think he would save the Hornets. I think he would make them entertaining. He might even make them respectable, but save them in the sense that he would turn them around and make them like a perennial playoff team. Yeah, I don't think so. First of all, his game, there's no way his game works with LaMelo's game, because LaMelo's game is all about LaMelo. So I don't even know how that would work because LaMelo's a point guard who's going to take 22 shots a game. Like, I don't see how that would work. If you get Cooper Flag, it's a great get, but I don't think that I don't think that changes anything.
Real quick, my bad, Adam. I saw you as somebody else. My bad. um, welcome to the stream, by the way, Adam. Gabe Vincent for Jaden. Who
He
wants
said
Gabe Vincent?
for Jaden Harden. Yeah, that's just the thing. Look, they already got ganked before. Like, I don't think they're taking Gabe. What's the sell on Gabe Vincent? Does he have an expiring contract? Because
Like,
that would be only the selling point. Like, if Rob's got to make some more moves.
Yes,
because they're gonna score. The Lakers are gonna score. The question is, are they gonna be able to get stops?
Let me ask you about Williams one more time. Is he going to end up being AD 2.0, Street Close 2.0 with the way he's going right now?
I mean, he's early in his career. He could be, and you bring up a good point because they're making this move for right now. They want to contend, but he's one of those guys that he's kind of on the brittle side for whatever reason. It just is what it is. He might be. I guess time will tell. But maybe, you know what? A change of scenery that might make his body feel a lot better too. Like, you go from the Hornets out there to California to LA. You might start feeling a little bit better kind of right away.
Oh yeah, guaranteed. He ain't hurt no more.
Right. Suddenly those bones don't feel as achy, and everything
I'm
feels a little
feeling
bit
way
better.
better.
and remember, he's going to a situation with two elite perimeter players who have terrific court vision, are both great passers. Like, he's about to catch more lobs and dunks than he's ever caught in his career.
Yep. I agree with that. Brandon, how you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. One more deal I did want to talk about. And you brought it up yesterday too. Doggone it. Brandon Ingram gets moved to the Toronto Raptors. Do you like that move?
I like it for the Pelicans because they weren't going to give. He's another person that was extension eligible, and they weren't going to give Brandon Ingram a max contract.
They would have done it by now if they were going to.
So it was more like move it or lose it. So they had to move him. The question I have with the Raptors is, I'm trying to think how that works with Barrett, Barnes, and then you bring in a Brandon Ingram because it's interesting. You recognize the names Barrett, Barnes, and then Ingram, and yet out of the three of them, none of them are number one options. None of them are number one options.
Number twos and number threes.
They're not. They're all terrific players, but none of them. If Scotty Barnes is your best player, you've got a limited ceiling.
Yep.
Same for Barnes. Same for Brandon Ingram.
Yep.
And if you combine them all together, I think maybe you got a playoff team, but you're getting knocked out in the first round.
Right.
So I don't get the move. But I think Toronto, at this point, Usai Ujiri is just throwing Hail Marys, right? Let me see what happens, right? Remember.
Dart at the dartboard. Let's see what sticks.
Yeah, I just think they're throwing a Hail Mary because my guess is, unless he agreed to an extension with the trade last night, my guess is Brandon Ingram's going to bounce. He's going to bounce outright.
Yeah.
I don't even know how that would work. I can't tell you how the move is going to work. I can tell you in the bigger picture in terms of wins and losses, they're not going to be a good team.
What's up, Cottrell? He wants to know what your take on the Lakers trade.
I'm kind of on the other side, Cottrell. I think it's a good move, but I thought for what they gave up, it's kind of I mean, you gave up Connect and you gave up the number one pick. I just like, I don't know. It was all right. It's all right. It's all right. Like,
you still from a Lakers fan.
I feel like for what they got in return, maybe you could have went to the Philippines and brought Dwight Howard back. That would have been cheaper.
Dang.
I'm just saying he wouldn't have cost you nothing. He would have cost you a plane ticket. That would have been it.
Yeah.
So look,
he would have been happy to be back in the league.
In a heartbeat. And I think he would have played his tail off because he'd be back in the league. But I think it's a good move, but I don't think it's a lot of people are talking about they're all excited and it's electric, I think that it's a good move. It doesn't change the fact that the Lakers are going to be deficient defensively. Like a lot of people say, well, they have defensive players on their bench, right? But they're on their bench because they can't shoot.
Mm-hmm.
You can't put a bunch of non-shooters on the floor and go, well, they're going to clamp people down, right? But people are going to clamp them down because they can't shoot. They can't shoot.
Yep.
Like people love Vando. I think Vando's just a guy. Like they go, well, he plays hard on defense. He has to play hard on defense because he's a zero on offense, right?
If
you can't shoot, you better play defense. So he's just a guy. Don't act like he's an all NBA defender. He's not.
Yeah.
They're going to have to mix and match when LeBron's off the floor and Luka's off the floor. They're going to have to stagger their minutes because outside of those two guys, they have limited shot creation. If this Lakers team is going to make a deep playoff run, Will, it's going to be off the back of their offense, not their defense.
Now, being a Lakers fan, where do you see playoff wise? Where do you see the Lakers ending up? Second round?
I think a realistic prediction could be that they could go. Let me go high of the high, right? The high of the high is they can make it to the Western Conference Finals. I think they're at the other end of it, provided the two big names stay healthy. I think they make it to the second round. And the only reason I said that, again, look at the Western Conference. Denver, not a dominant team.
No.
Houston, as good as they are, not a dominant team. Like really look at the West. The Clippers are good. They're good enough to make the playoffs, but they're a first round exit. Like not a great like really look at the Western Conference. Don't get it caught up in star power. Look at the conference as a whole. It's not a dominant conference. And I really think that if you play Oklahoma City and you play a physical brand of basketball, that bodes well for you. Minnesota, right now with Ant and Julius Randle, first round exit if they make the playoffs. I don't even know if Phoenix is going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, we don't know that.
Dallas, as much as we hype up the AD trade, look at their record, Will. If you could look up their record, is Dallas a game or two over 500? Like they've got a lot of ground to make up. So
they do.
So I guess what I'm saying is Kyrie and AD could make for a great tandem. But there's no guarantees that Dallas is going to have the firepower necessary to make a deep run because they have limited shot creators on their roster. And
Dallas right now is 26 and 25. They're 8th in the playoff race right now.
Yes, 26 and 20. Right, that's my point. And Cottrell just hit it on the head. Outside of the team that's number one, Oklahoma City, the West is wide open. The West is wide open. What I don't think it's pie in the sky to say potentially that the Lakers could go to the Western Conference Finals if they get the right matchups. They, again, 2 top 10 players. Think about the other teams in the West. Is there any other team in the West that can say we have 2 top 10 players? The answer is no.
Nope.
The answer is no.
Nope.
So why wouldn't they be a legitimate threat to at least be a second round team and maybe even find their way into the conference finals? By the way, if they should get there, we don't know that Oklahoma City is going to win. We don't know that.
We thought that last year, did we not?
We did. And what happened was Luka and company took them out because they played physical, Dallas did, and J-Dub didn't handle it well. And some of the other guys didn't handle it well. Only Shea really seemed to respond, but the rest of those guys struggled. They're still a young team. I think Hartenstein is great for them, but they're still a young team. If they're going to make a deep, deep run and be in the Western Conference Finals, they need Chet back. They need They need Chet back.
Dallas versus LA in 7 games. I like to see that too, Gene. I'm there with you, bro. I'm all for it.
I'm here for it. Look,
I'm all for it, man.
I think the Lakers could potentially get knocked out in the second round. But if they make the conference finals, I'm going to call it right now. If they match up against Oklahoma City, they're going to beat Oklahoma City. They're going to go to the finals. How
dare you, Cottrell, talk about Gene? How dare you talk about everybody's favorite player, Julius Randle? How dare you do that, sir?
I called for that trade like a couple years ago, and they finally made it happen.
Yep.
And I didn't think Minnesota would be dumb enough, but they did it. They went ahead and did it. And their thinking was Julius Randle gives us another ball handler. He does. But he also is a ball stopper because once he handles the ball, he don't give it up.
He ain't going nowhere.
No. And he makes bad decisions. Why would you trade Cat, a guy who just took you to a deep playoff run, with Ant? It worked. Their skill sets complemented each other.
Yep.
Julius Randle's skill set doesn't complement Ant.
Now we haven't talked about this deal yet, so we can go ahead and get into it now. The Bucks traded for Kyle Kuzma, moved Chris Middleton over to the Wizards. What do you think about that deal? I've never been a huge Middleton fan, but what do you think about this deal?
I think that this current version of Chris Middleton, who's obviously not what he was when he was an all-star, right?
No.
But that current version of Chris Middleton, I think he's 33, averaging about 12 points a game. Again, not what he was. I think that version of Chris Middleton is still better than Kyle Kuzma. So it's just facts. He's just a better player.
True. He is. That's true.
Kyle Kuzma was on the Lakers team that won the title, obviously.
Yep.
And by default, they called him the third option. In that playoff run, he averaged 10 points a game, shot 43% from the field, 30% from three. He was on the roster. If you watch those finals, you barely knew the guy played. I can't help it that the Wizards are a stupid franchise and thought for some reason that Kyle Kuzma could potentially be a number one option. That's just their dumbness. I can't control that.
Yep.
And the Bucks wanted to get younger. So mission accomplished. Yes, he's younger. I think he's 28, 29.
Mm-hmm.
You can play faster with him. I think so. I'm not saying he doesn't have talent, but he's inconsistent. He's erratic.
Yeah.
And the Bucks are trying to make a title run with two veteran stars, and you bring him in. I don't know if Kyle Kuzma can handle the pressure. Remember, he's going to be the number 3 option. At least that's what they want him to be.
Mm-hmm.
But the pressure also falls on him when you get into the matchups. What happens when they play Boston? Who he guarding? Tatum or Brown? Because he can't guard either one of them. So, do I think it's a move to make the Bucks better? Nope. It accomplished what they wanted to. They wanted to get younger. They think they're going to be better. I don't think Kyle Kuzma makes the Bucks better. I think they're the same at best or worse, but they're not better.
Real quick, let me get caught up in the chat here. Gene said he'll pay to see that Lakers Dallas Mavericks matchup. Yeah, he did. Luka did put him to bed last season. That is true. Last year. This is true. Spurs versus Thunder in the Western Conference Final. I don't know about that, Alex. I don't know about that.
Spurs.
Yeah.
I think they're maybe a year or two away, but
I like the core though.
I do.
I like the core.
I like the core because Fox puts everybody in their proper role. Vassell becomes the third option. Then you've got all the talent that they have coming off the bench. What's the young man? I love Castle. Plays with all that intensity, athletic, already a defensive stopper.
Yep.
They have all the things necessary to become one of the top teams in the West. I just think they need more time.
Yeah, that Fox Wembanyama combo, that is nice. That's really nice. I'm liking that.
I think it's nice, and I think that, but I also think there's value in still having Chris Paul there.
Hey, Gene don't like Julius Randle either. Oh my goodness. How you doing, Brandon?
Brandon just said that Brandon Ingram was more than likely to stay. I'm not telling you he won't stay, but if he does stay, I don't know what to tell you, Brandon. They're not going to be any good. If he's like him staying, they're not going to be any good.
Yeah.
He's not a number one. Like, they have a really weird roster construction. They've got a bunch of talented guys, but none of them are a number one. Even at his best, Brandon Ingram could be a number 2 on a playoff contender. But putting Ingram and Scotty together with RJ, it's a meh move. It's a meh move. It might make the playoffs, but nobody's going to be going like, oh my God, we got to play the Raptors. Nobody's going to care.
Man.
Nah, really. Yeah, the problem is, though, Scotty can't shoot.
Nope.
And they keep putting the ball in Scotty's hands. They're not going to be a good team. I know you might be a Raptors fan. All I can tell you is they'll be a playoff team. And if that's your ceiling, then you'll get your wish. But are they going to be relevant when we talk about the Knicks and the Celtics and the Bucks? No.
And the Cavs.
Zero impact. Zero impact.
And the Cavs, yeah.
And it's already been proven. If you barely touch Brandon Ingram and play any kind of physical style of defense on him, done.
He is soft.
Done. Got a ton of quit in him. He will quit. They made him. Oklahoma City made him quit last year. Look, I've known Bi or watched him since he was a rookie. Talented dude, but he is cottony soft. He don't want it.
Like Stephen A. Smith says, softer than cottonelle tissue. What other moves do you see that we could see come down the turnpike that might make an impact on this trade deadline day?
I think there's more moves. There's still other guys that have been extension eligible that haven't gotten their extensions. These franchises are going to make decisions on them. You're either, if you haven't got an extension by now, you're getting moved, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're going to get moved. So I do think there are other moves out there. Don't forget that I don't think Golden State is done. I'm not even sure the Lakers are done. If I were Milwaukee, I wouldn't be done, but they're probably done.
Yeah.
Look, a lot of people love the Kuzma move. I can only tell you it looks better than it sounds. I'll tell you what, I'll give people some hope.
Uh-oh.
The Kuzma move is going to be really, really nice on 2K. but in real life, not so much. But on 2K, the Bucks are going to be hell to play.
And the thing
Matter of fact, the Brandon Ingram move.
That's gonna be hellified too.
the Raptors on 2K. I might play with the Raptors on 2K. But they're going to be better on 2K than they'll ever be in real life.
And the thing that gets me with Kuzma, it's not like he plays defense. It's like you would want to have a young player who plays on the defensive side of the ball. And Kuzma ain't never been a stopper.
No, not a stopper, not a consistent shooter either. Look, like I said, the Wizards gave him more money than he probably thought he would ever make in his life.
Yep.
I get it. The Bucks were hungry to get younger. And I talked about this. I've been talking about this the last 2 seasons. The most unathletic team in the NBA is the Milwaukee Bucks.
Agreed.
And they desperately needed some young legs. I have no problem with that. And Kuzma provides that. And he might even look good in the regular season, but you didn't bring him there for what he looks like in the regular season. You brought him there because you thought he could give you a push toward the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yep. Exactly.
We'll see. I don't think this move moves the needle at all. I think this is going to be one of those moves that after they get knocked out in the playoffs, Giannis is going to go, I don't know if I want to be here.
Yeah, go right back to that.
Right. I don't know if they're serious about because he does that. I don't know if they're serious about winning.
They don't want to win. They don't want to win.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Let me see. Lakers are out of assets. Kibler and Vincent are likely the only movable piece. Vincent ain't movable. That man got a $10 million contract. Vincent ain't movable. I don't know anybody. I don't know of a front office who would want to take on that salary for what you get. I
think Gabe Vince is going to be a Laker.
He's stuck. He's stuck.
You know what? I think the only way the Lakers can move Gabe Vincent is if we send some cash considerations. We actually pay somebody. Like, can you just?
They be killing me with that.
Can you just take this for some?
They be killing me with cash consideration because you never know how much cash it is.
Right, but it makes me laugh when a team pays another team to take a player. Like, just take this dude.
Just take this dude. We give it a couple mil. Just take this dude. DeAndre Hunter to the Cavs. I'm calling it now.
if Cottrell is right, then DeAndre Hunter goes to the Cavs.
That'd be a good move.
Oh, it's going to be a great move because
Good move.
if that happens, the Cavs are going to meet the Celtics in the conference finals.
I put them in another stratosphere,
and they're going to match up well with them because Hunter is interchangeable and he can match up well with Tatum or Brown. So if that happens, I think the Cavs become legitimate threat to the Celtics. I never thought of them as real threats to them right now.
Mhm.
If they make that move, Boston better be on high alert. I think that leaps the Cavs I think they go to the conference finals to meet the Celtics.
I said, damn, that's a good move. And if that happens, that's a good call. That's a good call. Giannis said he want all the European stars and big money.
Yeah, I know he said that, and if and when they get knocked out, I'm sure he'll start thinking about maybe I'd look good in New York, or maybe I'd look good. Look, I think Giannis is a great player, and I'm not bagging on him. I'm simply saying that he's been part of some decisions the last couple of seasons that didn't go well, right? Like he wanted old boy to be the coach, right? And then when he told the truth about his brother, he didn't want him to be the coach no more. like he just kept it a buck. He just said, like, come on, man, what does Thanasis do?
Right.
He kept it a buck, and Giannis didn't like that. He took offense to it. Remember, they had the best record in the NBA.
They did at that time. He
was going to be the coach of the All-Star team.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So look, Giannis, like any other great player that start creeping up on 30, you get a little bit more that sense of urgency, and you get more frustrated every time your season comes. I get it. He knows he only has a certain amount of years left to play at a high level and to win a couple of more titles. So I totally understand that. And I'm not saying the Bucks aren't threats in the East. I just don't think the Kyle Kuzma move moves the needle. I don't think it does. If the needle was stuck on 12 before the Kuzma move, it's kind of like hedging back towards 11.
I think the funniest part to me about the Bucks is when they won the bubble championship. Did you see the picture of Doc Rivers holding that title?
Right.
He ain't done that. Like, he forgot how to do it. It's just so long since he won that title in Boston. And I think him and over in the NFL real quick, I think him and Sean Payton has done more with one championship than any coach I've ever seen.
He has milked. And look, I know championships are hard to come by. And I do think Doc's been a good coach, but I don't think he's a great coach. I think he's a good coach. I don't think he's a great coach. He was the coach of a team that went to 2 finals, that was a perennial title contender for about a 4 or 5 year run, but I don't think he's a great coach.
No.
But he has milked it the same way Peyton has milked it. It's kind of funny when you make that comparison. Look, I think the NBA has always been really great at this, Will. They've always been the greatest league when it comes to rumors. When it comes to rumors, that whole I heard this or the possibility of these two teams, no league has done it better than the NBA. Even now, when we get past the playoffs, past the finals, and we go into the offseason, the NBA is going to have 500 different rumors about who's teaming up next, who should go. Think about now, all the lead up. KD might be getting moved from Phoenix, and now that's kind of died down. Although if I'm Phoenix, don't you have to have a realistic plan? Book's 28. Book's going to be around for a few more years.
Yep.
He can still be your centerpiece. KD's 36 right now. Don't you have to be realistic and go, does it benefit us to hold on to a 36-year-old Kevin Durant if we're not going to be title contenders? And they're not going to be title contenders.
Nope. Doc Rivers and Mike Tomlin cut from the same cloth, one winning 2 championship appearances and clean it to an 08 championship for dear life.
Cottrell is coming with haymakers.
He is on it this morning, but he is on it. Oh my goodness. He is on it. Mo, back in Lakerland, who's got more pressure on him? Would you say LeBron or Luka would have more pressure on him?
It's interesting because Luka just came off of going to the finals. So it's not like he hasn't been there, right? He hasn't taken the team to the finals. And it's not like the Lakers just came off of winning a championship. I think they both have an equal amount of pressure. I think the only difference is LeBron, everything to him is on a certain timeline. Like, how long can I maintain stay? Like, I have to take advantage of how well I'm playing at this level each year.
Mm.
So I think to LeBron, each year is I've got an opportunity to win a title. Luka, I think he wants to win a title, but he's 25. He
Yep.
can say, like, I've got more time. So I think LeBron has more of a sense of urgency. But the pressure, I think they share equally. Actually, I'll go even further. However this works out, nobody has more pressure on them than Rob Pelinka.
Agreed. If I'm a Spurs, why not go all in on KD, trade all the young stars beside Castle?
That would be interesting if you add KD to Fox with Wemby. I think the expectations is you got to be in the playoffs. You got to be trying to knock somebody out of the playoffs. That's an interesting move, but I'm going to think this way. The Fox move for the Spurs was huge because they're not known for making big trades, right?
Nope. They normally build through the draft and free agency.
Right. That's normally their path. And yet what they were able to do in the Fox move was they didn't give up none of their young assets. They didn't give up none of their young core. So I think the idea of KD, I think it's attractive, but I don't think they would do it because he's not part of their long-term future. And I don't think even adding KD, I don't think the Spurs are going to the finals.
I give them props though. I'll give that. I still think the Spurs got one of the best front offices in the game.
No question.
I'll give them props.
And they do it the right way. They usually develop their young talent. The Fox move is, like I said, is a little outside of their spectrum, but it makes sense because adding Fox to Wemby, you give him a running mate and another closer, it speeds up his timeline towards success. So I like that pairing. I know it's to a lesser degree. Duncan had David Robinson when he was still playing at a high level as a mentor. I think Fox can be kind of the combination of Fox and Chris Paul, because I think Chris Paul can play for at least another season.
Yep.
I think those two guys are going to be great mentors for Wemby going forward. So the KD thing is attractive, but here's the thing. I told this to you on yesterday's show. I thought KD had two moves he should make. I thought Golden State was one, which he shot that down with the quickness. Again,
he did.
Not the best decision maker, but the other one was why not the Thunder, who they've got 1,000 draft picks. Even with the team that they have, they've got 1,000 draft picks.
Yep.
Why not the Thunder make a move for KD, give away the draft picks, which by the way the Suns could use, and pair KD as the number 2 to SGA, make J-Dub the number 3 option.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then it makes for more storybook. KD's still that dude, but he's not the guy. SGA's the guy. But if he helps SGA win where it all started, that's as storybook as it gets.
And it gives OKC that veteran presence that they pretty much lack outside of Caruso, and he's only going to be for your defensive responsibilities. Mo, do you think Golden State finally gets rid of Buddy Hield, or they hold on to him?
Look, I'm going to tell you right now, they're talking about getting rid of him. They're not going to tell Buddy that, but they're telling Buddy, we'll see you at practice tomorrow, but he's probably not going to be at practice tomorrow.
Buddy Hield like that.
It's one of those conversations where it's like, all right, Steph, I'll see you tomorrow. And Steph's like, probably not. Look, I think if they can make a big move, I think, and it doesn't have to include Buddy Hield, they want to keep him because he's a floor spacer.
Yes.
But if they're trying to get another star and they can acquire him and the other team absolutely wants, then Buddy Hield's going to go. I think Golden State is really their front office is not in total agreement when it comes to Jonathan Kuminga. Will they're not? They're kind of split. I think Steve Kerr doesn't see him as a star. I think Joe Lacob could go either way, and then I think Dunleavy is kind of like, I don't know either. They're not sure. I'm sure about this. I think Jonathan Kuminga will be an impactful player, but when I say impactful, I mean very good. I don't think Jonathan Kuminga is going to be a superstar. I don't think he's a franchise player. I think he's a very good player. And if I were Golden State, he's a lot of things. He's not untouchable. If he brings me back something that's of value, he's on the first plane smoking.
I feel you.
Because if you're bringing in Jimmy Butler and you're trying to win, and you're saying, I'm going to keep Steph and Jimmy Butler together for the next two years to make a run. What do you need Kuminga for?
Right. He's just lingering around on your bench. All right, a couple things I do want to talk about. We do have a big game down in the Big Easy coming up. And the headlines have been NBA, NBA, NBA. But I do want to ask you a couple of Super Bowl questions. What do you think the 3 keys would be for the Eagles to get this win?
It's all about their running game. It's all about their running game. That O-line, Saquon Barkley. If they do what they've done all year, which is dominate the line of scrimmage, and Saquon does what he does, meaning once he hits that hole and breaks that first tackle, explosive run up the field. If they continue doing those things, one, it's the strength of their offense. 2, it keeps Patrick Mahomes on the sidelines, right?
Yep.
The run game is the thing you do best, but it's also going to help your defense out because it keeps Patrick Mahomes on the sidelines. Now, defensively, I literally think this Super Bowl is going to come down to the line of scrimmage. And I don't think KC's offensive line is going to be able to control Philly's defensive line. So I think Mahomes and company, they're going to do a lot of short, quick slants, bubble screens, and try to be effective that way. I feel like Kansas City has such a limited offense. Even though Andy Reid's got a brilliant offensive mind, I think they're going to do a lot of a lot of like little tricky, hinky plays. Only because even though Xavier Worthy is incredibly speedy and fast, he's still young.
Yes.
His route tree consists of 2 routes. He runs a 9 route and he knows how to run a slant. That's it. He doesn't know what he doesn't know yet. Maybe in the Super Bowl, with the stakes being what it is, a veteran receiver like D-Hop becomes really important.
Yes.
Can't blow by anybody no more, but still has great hands. I think D-Hop can be a chain mover, right? Not have a high yards per catch, but what if he catches 8 balls but only averages 9 yards per catch? Still moving it. That's a chain mover. I think D-Hop becomes very valuable because I don't think Philly's going to let Travis Kelce get off. I think Kelce's going to have a hard time getting off. So, look, the keys for Philly is be what you've been all year long. Great on defense, dominant run game, and you don't turn the football over.
It's like I think it's going to be a good game, a great game. But I would be remiss if I didn't finish up the show by asking this: will we see a clean game from a referee standpoint?
I think so. I certainly hope so. I want this game to be decided by the 2 football teams.
Yes.
Even if I'm wrong and this suddenly is a high-scoring game, I still want it to just come down to who makes the best plays late in the game and not be a holding penalty or a DP, pass interference, or anything like that. Let it just come down to one team making more plays than the other team.
The kicking game might make a difference.
If it's a high-scoring game, you know what? Let's say this: the kicking game always matters, right? Even if it's 13-10, it matters. If it's 35-35, it matters. So I think your kicking game always matters because it's the weird things that happen where your kicker who's never missed the extra point misses 2 extra points.
Right.
It's the little things. I think special teams will be big. They're always big in a Super Bowl. So if your identity is you're a high-level special teams football team, which I think the Eagles and the Chiefs are, then that's what you're going to be. These games always come down, Will, to who turns the football over.
Yep.
Somebody gonna turn the football over.
Yep.
And it's just a matter of who can take advantage of it. I will say this: if the Eagles get out fast, saying like they're up 17-3 in the second quarter, I think the Chiefs are in trouble. they're not built to walk you down.
Mhm.
They don't have that kind of offense. And if the Eagles get up 17-3, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to get a heavy dose of Saquon.
Oh, yeah.
Saquon might carry the ball 35 times.
Oh, yeah.
And I know Spags is a great defensive coordinator, and the Chiefs do have a good defense. I don't know what you do when you go against an offensive line that literally mauls whoever they play.
Yep. Final question. You say, do you think we see a lot of the tush push?
Yeah, I think you're going to see it a few times. Look, Saquon's going to move the football. I think what the Eagles is, they're the masters of being in third and short. Like they don't spend a lot of time in third and long.
No.
So
no.
yes, we're gonna see the tush push in the middle of the field. You're probably gonna see the tush push around the goal line.
Yep.
The only question is, can you stop it? No, no, you can't stop it. Look, I actually hope I'm wrong, Will. I hope it's one of those. I hope it's similar to the Niners versus the Chiefs last year, where it was kind of high scoring, right? And it was entertaining.
Yep.
I'll take a Super Bowl like that. I really will.
I will too.
But I will say this, even though I think everything points to the Eagles winning, if it's a one possession game, I don't care if it's a low scoring game or a high scoring game, I'm favoring Kansas City. If the Eagles are going to beat Kansas City, I think they need to thump them.
They got to beat them. They gotta beat them.
I think they need to thump them. They can't let them hang around. If they're going to beat Kansas City, and I'm not rooting for this, but this is what I believe. If you're a Philly fan, I believe the Eagles got to thump Kansas City. They got to make it to where at halftime we're like, this is over.
Yeah. Because it does one or two things. A, you establish your dominance, and B, you keep the refs out of it because you're scoring points. You're putting points on the board, putting that pressure on that defense. And again, the more you score, in my opinion, the more you score, the more you keep the refs out of it. Because this is a close game, and it's going to rely on this call or that call. No, you need to go put your foot on that throat when you play the Chiefs. And no team has been able to do that thus far. No team's been able to do that thus far. You got to beat them. Put your foot on their throat and beat them.
And I think the Eagles are built to do it.
I think they are too.
I think they're built to do it. It's just a matter if they take that mentality and just go out there and do it. It's not a knock. I'm actually more blown away by the fact that the Chiefs are back in the Super Bowl with what they have offensively. I'm in awe of that, of Patrick Mahomes, of Andy Reid, and how they manage the game that way. If it's a close game, though, and you're the Eagles, I think you've already lost.
Yeah. You got to put your foot on their throat and go and beat them and get it over with. I want to see Saquon because he didn't get the rushing title, but I would love to see him win that Super Bowl title. Oh, my God. That would be awesome for him.
Wouldn't it be awesome to see Saquon hold up I just feel like it's fitting to where the season began when we were watching Hard Knocks and the Giants were telling Saquon, like, go out there and see what they offer you. And just that played out so publicly.
Yes.
I don't have a dog in this fight, but I do have players that I've been fans of. Saquon Barkley, I've been a fan of for a long time. So I'm sentimentally I'm torn because I want Saquon to win, but I'm also torn because I'm a huge Andy Reid fan. And I think, man, if Andy Reid earns another one on his cap and it's a three-peat, I think he catapults himself up into that all-time great coaching ranks.
I think he does too. All right, Mo, let's go ahead and close the show on out for today.
Thank you guys so much for joining Bill and I. Make sure you check out all the great content we have at Wire to Wire Network. Wire to Wire Network, we appreciate you.
All right, and I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat. I want to say also thank you to Mo for coming in with me this morning, right here on the morning show on Wire to Wire Sports. I will see you guys next week. Everyone have a good week. Happy Super Bowl. Take care.